I just want to touch on a few things. This review is looking at the sort of year review of the Ministry of Transport. And we've just heard from the Minister of Transport some of the wonderful things that he has done in the last 12 months. And I want to touch on one thing in particular. We heard from Darian Fenton talking about what I call the cents. What we're really interested in is the dollars, particularly the $1 billion that's been put into state funding for new state highways over the next few years. And in particular, I want to talk about one special project. That is the new Christchurch Southern Motorway. This is a $730 million project. $730 million. It's the single biggest roading project that's been built in the South Island since anyone can remember. And Mr Chair, I think this is a wonderful project. I had the absolute pleasure of sitting there on the first sod tuning day with the Minister of Transport, there with a large number of the community who are ecstatic that their community were going to have the ability to get to their homes, their businesses, their schools, just that little bit faster because of the roads of national significance. And yes, the Christchurch Southern Motorway is one of the linchpin projects of the roads of national significance. $730 million. And that day, on the opening day of that first sod tuning ceremony, there were a large group of people there. There were national MPs, there was a few national ministers. How many Labour Party MPs were there to celebrate this, the most significant roading project in the South Island's history?
No, you tell me.
Zero.
What about yourself?
Zero Labour MPs were there to celebrate. And that just shows you how much they see the importance of roading to unclog the arteries that we have in New Zealand. See, we have a problem in Christchurch. People think the only roading projects that are a problem are in Auckland. Well, I tell you what, you drive down either the major current entry into Christchurch from the north or the south, and you'll wonder what you run into in congestion. We have it in Christchurch too. And Mr Chair, it's not just the Southern Motorway. This is the first project in a collection of roading projects. We're going to have an upgrade of the Western bypass that'll go around the outskirts of the city to the west. And in time we will have the new Northern Motorway coming to come through to my community in the northern Christchurch. And look, our people are screaming out for this. And this is only possible because of that extra $1 billion that we've put into the state highway network for the next 3 years. And what a wonderful thing it is. I mean, that's the important thing. Getting mums and dads and people to work and school faster. Not worrying about some small issues around the $10 million super gold card. It's $1 billion, Mr. Chair. Put it into context here. Look, the other big issue we've got, I mean, I touched on my favourite pet project, Southern Motorway, and I know that my colleagues have had the Waikato Expressway, and there's the Caversham Bypass. There's a collection of projects up and down the country. People want to be able to get and unclog their arteries and be able to get to their ability, their home, work and school much faster. And Mr Chair, I mean, these are wonderful projects. And what does the Labour Party want to talk about? They don't want to talk about that. They could have talked about public transport. They don't want to talk about that either. What do they want to talk about? The super gold card, Mr Chair. I mean, it's remarkable. Mr Chair, I mean, the one thing we haven't talked about really here, I mean, we can talk for hours on this whole issue of the roads of national significance, the importance that it's actually happened to the Christchurch community, to the Dunedin community, to the Hamilton, wider Waikato community. But, I mean, Mr Chair, I mean, what do we hear from the opposition? This is a typical thing with the opposition. They don't care about the big dollars. They don't care about the big picture. They don't care about the economy. They can't count that high, Mr Woodhouse tells me. They can't count that high. That may be the case, but I don't possibly want to comment. But look, the other, I couldn't possibly stand up here and not talk about the other major project in our roads of national significance, and that's the great big project that occurred of bringing forward the Victoria Park Road by 1 year. That's bringing forward by a year. That's a year sooner that people in Auckland are going to have the ability to access that road and be able to get to where they want to go better, faster, sooner. More conveniently. But the jewel in the crown, Mr Chair, the jewel of the crown is the announcement for the long-suffering people of Wellington about the $2.2 billion strategic upgrade of State Highway 1 into Wellington Airport, including Transmission Gully. When I was a long-suffering public servant, and I actually, this was a project 15 years ago that was on the books. So this is the minister that's brought forward the transmission gully, taken it from the ether in the distance and brought it onto the paperwork of progress. And what a wonderful thing it is. $2.2 billion so the people from Wellington can get to Porirua or come into Wellington a much farther sooner way. And what a wonderful thing it is. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Question is that the report of the Transport and Industrial Relations Committee on the 2008-9 financial review of the Ministry of Transport be noted. Those of that opinion will say aye. The contrary opinion will say no. The ayes have it. I understand the next financial review members wish to debate is the financial review of the Ministry